for God's sake. For God's sake, Bride, please help me. Please, I can't move.
Try moving very slowly away from it.
Don't shoot them! Don't shoot them! Here, Blitz! Here, Amber! Drop. Drop, Amber. Yes. Good. Yes. Aren't you good? Stay.
Here, stop shaking and drink this. Good stiff brandy'd be the shot, though.
Thank you.
Looks like you'll have to drink it through a straw.
Stupid, isn't it? I just can't stop.
No, not at all. I think you're handling it very well. I think you should take the day off, though. Hell, I would.
I can't, Steve.
Why not? If it had happened to me, I'd be home for good.
Yeah, well, you don't have to prove anything.
Look, those dogs are trained to attack.
Miss Conway, are you all right?
No, she's not, Mrs. Davidson. She should go home.
No, don't be ridiculous. I'm fine.
But you're shaking like a leaf. The women would notice it straight away. I think I'll get Mrs. Morris to drive you home after you've seen Sister Franklin. In fact, you should take tomorrow off as well. Now then, Mr. Faulkner, what have you done with Burns?
I locked her in a cell.
We'll put her into solitary. I'll deal with her in the morning. She has quite a bit of explaining to do.
You did tell Mrs. Davidson that it was me who saved Miss Conway, didn't you? I mean, like calling off the dogs and everything.
Yes, I told her. I think she's very interested to know how you came to have so much control over the dogs.
Well, I'm just real good with animals, you know. I like dogs a whole lot, and they like me. Ought to make it easier for me, don't you think? Me saving Miss Conway and that.
That's up to Mrs. Davidson. Seems to me you've got a hell of a lot of explaining to do.
Well, I don't think it's bloody fair. I mean, what about me dinner? They won't forget me, will they?
I'll make sure you get it. If I were you, I'd spend my time working out what I was going to say to Mrs. Davidson. She wasn't very happy.
Wally, you there? Wally, it's Jude. Wally? Where the bloody hell's Doreen?
I wanted to tell her everything's okay because the rest are going to lay off her.
Oh, she'll be at dinner.
Yeah, she never misses that. You want a fag?
No.
What exactly have you got in mind for Mari?
I reckon we're going to have to move in on her really quickly and let her know who's boss.
Good idea, a bolt from the blue.
Yep.
We'll wait until she's a lot. And we'll talk about it later.
Why later? But what do I have to do to let you know you can trust me? I am loyal to my friends, you know. Thought I've proved that often enough.
Well, you're going to have to take sides sooner or later. You can't keep on playing both ends against the middle forever.
Not trying to play any ends. I thought you realized by now I'd rather mediate than fight. All I want's a bit of peace and quiet around the place.
Well, there's fat chance of that.
Well, anyway, that's not my worry much longer. My appeal hearing's coming up soon.
You really think you're going to get off?
I don't see why not. There's a lot of new evidence, including a first-class witness. You should be able to establish that I only acted in self-defense.
They can still get you for manslaughter.
Yes, he would still end up with a couple of years.
No, I won't. I shall be out of here within a couple of weeks. Just you wait and see.
Pretty bloody sure of herself, isn't she?
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't tie in with what that doctor told me.
You never did tell me the whole story.
Well, when I was in hospital, I met this quack who knew Kate and her boyfriend. And from what he said, Conrad wouldn't hurt a fly. It was also pretty clear he couldn't stand Kate's guts. And he certainly didn't see her as the sweetness and light bit she turns on here.
Oh, God, no, not again. Judy, wake up. It's all right. It's only me. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. I almost didn't recognize you, you know.
What? Oh, I got rid of the wool, that's all.
Yeah.
What about yourself? You look pretty different.
Yeah. Fair force that eats your heart out, eh? Well, your suits, I must admit, you know, you look younger and everything. Bloody good. Gee, it's good to see you, Wally.
Yeah, well, I wish I could say the same about you.
Oh. You sure know how to hurt a fella, don't you?
Well, come on, this is the first place they're going to look, isn't it?
Do you think I busted out again?
Well, haven't you?
No. I'm on parole, all above board and legal like.
Fantastic! I can see us going through all that business
No
again, you know.
way.
Oh, it is great to see you. Fantastic. I'll make us a cup of tea.
Oh. Still drinking that herbal stuff?
That's all I got.
Yeah, well, it's better than nothing. Just. Lettuce and McNally's robbing a laundry bag today. Seems they want to get the dope supply started again.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, well, why not? Get them hooked in here, they'll make great customers when they get out.
Well, must be sending in something stronger than before, then.
Yeah, it's going to be the real stuff this time. They also want Edwards got rid of.
Got rid of?
Yeah, permanently. Seems they don't like what she done to Fitzwater. They're offering a lot of money, and I'm going to collect it.
Be dangerous, won't it?
Oh, I won't manage, but I might need a bit of help.
Now, look, I don't want to be directly involved. I can't afford to be. My appeal's coming up soon.
You can still help.
All right. As long as it can't be traced back to me.
Well, I need some dope to get started so the women are on side before then.
Well, I'm a couple of steps ahead of you. I managed to siphon up some amphetamines and barbiturates from the hospital. Not a lot, but enough to get things started.
Fan bloody tastic. I'll see you looked after. You got with the strength this time. A job? I don't believe it.
Yeah. I teach at a local craft school 3 days, 2 nights a week. Great bunch of kids. I really enjoy it.
Sounds good. Is that why you shaved off your beard? Show you're respectable.
No way. I wouldn't do it just for them. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I just wanted the air to get to my face, that's
Well,
all.
it suits you, that's for sure. You know, you're lucky you can still live the life you want to lead. Wish I could.
Things not been too good since you got out, eh?
Oh, there have been some real good moments. My daughter's been fantastic.
Your daughter?
Yeah. That's a new one for you, isn't it? I'll tell you all about it, but she's just as nice as yours. Completely different to Mickey, of course, but a really great kid. She just got married.
That is great.
Yeah. He's a nice guy, too. And he's got good taste. He likes me.
I'll make us some breakfast. You can tell us all about everything, eh?
Oh, breakfast. What is it going to be? Herbal tea and carrot sunny side up.
Better than nothing.
Okay.
I wonder where the hell Doreen is. Not here for tea last night, not here again this morning.
Lizzie might know.
Yeah, I'll ask her later. Yeah, they've thrown her in the pound or they've shanghaied her.
Why would they do that?
Damned if I know. Hope they haven't sent the poor kid back to Barnhurst. Oh, bugger it, no spoon.
I think it's about time we sorted a few things out, Smith. I've got quite a score to settle with you.
Don't try it. You're out of your class, Marie.
Why don't you quit while you're behind? You're prepared to take us both on, are you? Remember, I just killed a bloke. I've got nothing to lose.
And I'm not in bad form either.
Don't let them put it over on you, girls.
Oh, Kate, come over here and see what we do to scum that gets in our way.
You don't scare me, Edwards.
Only because you haven't got the brains to be scared. When I finish with you, you'll know all about it. What's going on here?
Nothing, Miss Conway. We were just discussing the weather. I suppose there is some out there.
Yes, as a matter of fact, Smith, it's a very nice day. And I would suggest it's going to be the same in here.
Miss Conway,
Yes, what is it, Smith?
what's happened to Doreen? She seems to have disappeared. She's in a bunk, has she?
She's in solitary.
In the pound? Well, what for?
Well, I would think she would tell you herself when she gets out. Now get on and eat your breakfast. That goes for the lot of you.
I wonder what Doreen's been up to.
Yeah. Well, maybe she's a bit better off out of it. I think things are coming to a head.
Yeah. And I know whose head. If you could call it that.
Thank you, Mr. Faulkner. Now, Doreen, what am I going to do with you?
Dunno.
Just explain to me how the guard dogs not only didn't attack you, but in fact obeyed you when you called them.
Dunno.
Don't keep saying that, Burns. Somehow or other it is obvious that you cultivated them until they regarded you as a friend.
Well, I am their friend, and they're my friends, more than a lot of people in here.
So you admit that over a period of time you worked on the dogs to win them over.
I didn't say anything like that.
It's obvious you've had this escape attempt planned for some time.
Look, just because I'm mates with the dogs doesn't mean I was planning to get out. Like I said to Mr. Faulkner here, I just like animals.
I'd like to know who else was involved in your little scheme.
Nobody else. I mean, why would they want to help me?
Well, it's obvious all I can do with you is put you into solitary until you can be brought before the visiting justice, and I don't expect him to be very lenient with you.
Yeah, well, I saved Miss Conway, didn't I? That ought to count for something.
And if you hadn't cut a hole in the fence in the first place, the dogs wouldn't have been able to attack Miss Conway.
Yeah, but once they had, I could have got away. Nobody would have seen me, not with all that going on, but I didn't, did I? I came back and saved her.
Was it Miss Conway or the dogs you were trying to save? I believe you called out to the guard not to shoot them.
Oh, yeah, all right. I didn't want to see them shot. But I was still helping her. You can't say I wasn't.
The fact remains that in attempting an escape, you placed an officer's life in jeopardy. I cannot allow that fact to be overlooked. Well, I will leave my decision about the VJ until later. Obviously, this affair needs a little more thought. Mr. Faulkner, would you take Burns back to solitary?
All right, Burns.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Davidson.
Of course you want some, Hayes. I mean, you could do with a bit of a lift, couldn't you?
No, I don't want it in the moment, thanks, Mary.
Why not? You bought them off me before, remember?
That time just before I got chucked in the pound. I haven't forgotten. Bit of a coincidence, that, wasn't it? I mean, I'll sell you a little cloth bag of pills, and a little cloth bag of pills gets found under me mattress.
Yeah, well, it was just a coincidence, that's all.
Well, I'd like to think so, but I mightn't if you stop buying off me. I've got some real good stuff coming in soon. But for the moment, you'll have some of these.
Sorry. It's awful what old age does to some people, isn't it?
Well, I think she'll have trouble getting any followers after that little lot.
Yeah, she's on her way out all right.
Oh, now look, Mary, I wasn't no part of that.
You said you were going to buy some pills.
Well, being Sandy
Screw
wouldn't like
them.
it.
Edwards is going to get what's coming to her, so why worry?
What do you mean?
I mean, you better start jumping when I say jump, right?
Yeah, right.
You owe me $5.
Yeah, well, I'll give it to you after lunch.
Yeah, but you're sure that Stuart wasn't dead?
Oh, I don't know. He's pretty badly hurt, I think.
Aren't you going to go back and find out?
No. I couldn't.
But you'll never rest till you know. I mean, you're going to see him lying there begging for help.
I know that, Wally, but not just yet, okay?
Okay. Well, you can stay here, you know that, don't you?
Thanks. Yeah, it'd be good, because Laurie's not there, and you're bound to have found Jock Stewart by now. We made enough racket beforehand. The neighbors were bound to have heard.
Well, one good thing, it means he'll be out of your hair for a while.
Yeah. Oh, I'm forgetting about the taxi. I have to take that back.
Well, come back here afterwards, won't you? You know that. You're welcome here.
Yeah. Not cramping your style, am I?
How's that?
Well, it was after dawn when you got home today. I thought there might have been a little lady in the piece.
Well, that's just where you're quite wrong. As a matter of fact, after work, I dropped in on a mate of mine. We had a few grogs. I sort of lost track of time.
I see. So Mickey is the only feminine light in your life?
I wouldn't say that. There's always you.
Get out.
I knew how the hell Doreen landed in the pound. I reckon Conway must have something to do with it. When I tried to pump her, she turned real shifty.
We'll probably have to wait till we hear from her.
There's something to tell you.
Yeah? Oh, hold it.
Bloody Mary forced me to buy some pills off her. What? Look, I didn't want to be, but she made me. I told you and Sandy wouldn't like it. And that's when she said about Sandy getting hers.
Well, not from her, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, there was something funny about the way she said it. It sounded like there was more to it than just getting even.
How do you mean?
Well, I don't know. It's just that, well, it sounded like she was planning something more than just a thump.
I think it's about time we set her straight on a few things.
Yes, let her know once and for all who's running this place.
Oh, very pretty. Black and blue with a touch of purple and yellow. That'll really brighten up that ugly mug of yours.
What do you two want?
Homely little place she's got here, hasn't she, Bee?
I don't know. Could do with a few finishing touches.
Yeah. See what you mean.
Let her rip, Boris. You know, she's thinking of taking up interior decorating. I reckon she'd be pretty good at it, don't you? Oh, you'd like another bruise to match the one you've already got, would you? Do a lot to improve you, one on each side. Don't you think she's doing a terrific job? You can recommend it to your mates. You could always do the same for them. Oh, very tasteful, my dear. Exactly what style is it?
Early junk deco, I'd say.
Well, that should suit you right down to the ground. Well, we'll leave you to enjoy it. Very well.
What happened? I heard the noise from right down the corridor. Sandy and Bee. Yeah. We're going to have to do something to get rid of Edwards, and maybe we can keep Smith in line.
How are you going to get rid of Sandy?
With your help.
Look, there's really nothing much I could do to help you. You'd be better off using one of your heavies. There's nothing you need me for.
Oh, yes, there is. Are you pulling out on me?
No, but my appeal's coming up soon. It's my one chance to get out of here. Please, I just want to lie low till it's all over.
And what happens if I tell Edwards what you've done to help me already? Do you reckon you'll get out of here alive then?
You wouldn't.
I would.
What do you want me to do?
Get some stuff from the hospital, something that's going to finish her off.
I couldn't get my hands on anything like that. Not something strong enough to kill her.
You'd get something, though, couldn't you?
Well, there's a carton of drugs they're going to destroy. Well, there'll probably be some strong barbiturates and, well, maybe some emetics in it. I suppose if they're mixed together and put in her food, they'd certainly debilitate her.
No, I want something that's going to make her real weak.
All right.
Okay. You get the stuff and I'll do the rest.
I still think you should have taken the day off as I suggested.
There was no need, Mrs. Davidson. I'm fine.
Are you quite sure? You have had a very bad shock.
I would rather be at work, really.
Very well, but if you decide you want to leave early, just let me know.
No, I'm sure I can complete my shift. Mrs. Davidson, I was wondering what was going to happen about Doreen Burns.
Well, I thought about it, and I've decided not to bring her before the VJ. However, I still must report the incident, and Doreen will have to spend a couple of days in solitary.
Well, I can't help feeling grateful to her. I thought that at any minute those dogs were going to tear me apart.
Yes, but we mustn't lose sight of the fact that if it hadn't been for Doreen, the dogs wouldn't have been loose in the first place. However, as you say, she did rescue you, and that is why I'm not pressing charges. Come in.
Mrs. Davidson, there's a policeman here. He wants to talk to you about Judy Bryant.
Bryant? She's not in trouble already.
Looks like it, I'm afraid.
Well, what exactly is it that Bryant has done?
Well, we don't know that she's done anything. You see, there's been an accident at the block of flats where she lives. A man had fallen down a flight of stairs. Now, he was unconscious by the time we got there, and he's still in a coma.
But what has that to do with Bryant?
Well, neighbours heard her arguing with someone, and we found a flat open and in an awful mess. We checked round for some identification and found a parole licence in her name. We just want to find her and ask her a few questions about the incident.
Well, I've no idea where she would be. She does have a daughter, but I don't know her address. I presume you've checked with her parole officer.
Yes, he suggested we speak to you. There isn't anyone here who might know where she'd be likely to go?
Well, her parole report was made out by Mrs. Morris. She's one of our officers. I know she visited Judy yesterday. Perhaps she may know something.
Could I speak to her?
Well, she's not on duty at the moment, but I'll give you her address.
What are you doing, Birdsworth?
Nothing, Mrs. Powell.
Aren't you supposed to be on kitchen duty?
Yes, I am, but I had to go to the loo. I thought I might bump into some of me mates on the way back.
Go on, get going.
It's truth, I can't even stop and have a bit of a natter.
Yes, you can. Natter yourself off to the kitchen. You want me?
Yes, Mrs. Powell. I was wondering if you could speak to Mrs. Davidson about my being able
Are you
to...
asking me to do you a favour?
Yes, I just want
Now, why should I do you any favours? You haven't done me any.
Yes, I know.
What
but
about the information you've promised? So far, I haven't received a damn thing from you.
Well, there really hasn't been anything.
Oh, come on. I find that hard to believe. These women are always planning something.
No, not at the moment.
So you keep saying.
Look, I'm not trying to put one over on you, Mrs. Powell. You can trust me. Well, it's just difficult, that's all. The women found out. I think you know what they do.
Be pretty unpleasant for you, but then we can make things unpleasant as well. So if you are playing some little game with me, I warn you, think again.
I'm not, I swear it.
Then I suggest if you do want favours from me, you do something to earn them.
Thanks. I'm sorry I couldn't meet you here last night as arranged. I suppose you heard what happened at the prison with the dogs.
Yeah, that sounded pretty dreadful. Janet must have been a wreck afterwards.
Yes, she was upset. I took her home, that's why I couldn't meet you here.
Bruised the old ego a bit. I thought I'd been stood up.
You'll get over it. Now, you wanted to ask some questions about the prison.
Leave that till later. Pleasure before business. That's my motto.
I understood it was purely business.
Well, what if I told you that I got you here under false pretenses?
Then I'd leave. Right now.
Well, I won't tell you then. I am interested. I really do have some questions about Wentworth.
All right, ask away. I should be able to answer most of them.
to tell me the door called those dogs off you?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Who would have thought that they would have done what she told them?
Yes, well, it certainly seems very odd.
Oh, hang on a minute, Miss Conway. Door's Teddy. Do you reckon we could take it to her?
She's not supposed to have anything.
Wouldn't hurt, would it? She's there all by herself. And after all, she did call those dogs off you, didn't she?
Oh, all right. But nothing else, just the bear, and hurry up.
Oh, this'll give Dor something to cheer her up, something to cuddle.
Yeah, well, don't tell anyone about it. I'll get into trouble if they find out I let you take it in.
Mum's the word.
You know, it's quite possible the women could lose interest very quickly. I've seen it happen before with nearly every project we've initiated.
Well, I just have to make sure that I get them really enthused. About the press, I mean.
I suppose you realise it'd be very foolish of you to get involved with any of the prisoners.
It's not any of the prisoners that I want to get involved with. It's one of the officers.
Yes. Oh, look, I have to go. I hope I've been able to help you.
You're a real hit and run, aren't you? How about coming and having dinner with me later in the week?
Ian, I'm married.
Yeah, well, so am I. And separated. And so are you, aren't you?
But not in the same sense. My husband's just away on business.
Okay, but it still must get pretty lonely. You know, all I'm offering is just companionship. We can have some fun together, that's all.
I'm sorry, it's just not possible. I've enjoyed our conversation, but I have to go.
Well, what about if I come with you, just for a cup of coffee?
No, I'll see you at work.
Okay. You're a hard woman, Meg Morris.
How are you, love?
Oh, good as you can be stuck in here.
I heard how you saved Miss Conway from those dogs. Oh, that was brave.
Yeah, look, they care, though. Still locked me in here, didn't they?
You were trying to escape, Doreen. I don't see how Mrs. Davidson can overlook it. But I am grateful.
I've got something for you.
Have you heard when I'll go before the VJ?
Oh, I can't say much, but I wouldn't worry.
Something to cheer you up.
Oh, Lizzie, how'd you come to get him?
Miss Conway said I could bring him to you. I wouldn't worry too much. Old Davo will let you off lightly. I mean, they can't punish you much, can they?
Oh, come on, Lizzie. You're not supposed to be talking to Doreen.
I mean, after all, you did save a screw's life, didn't you? See you later, love.
Thanks for Teddy, Lizzie. Give me somebody to talk to.
Yeah, but if he starts talking back, that's when you got to start worrying.
Who's there?
Surprise, surprise.
Hey, you better make mine a small one, or I'll be seeing double. Mind you, that might make for a very interesting night.
I see. Now, just what have you been up to whilst you've been away?
Oh, I've been leading a very celibate existence, and a very dreary one. Couldn't stand it any longer.
No. I've been feeling pretty lonely, too.
I thought you might have met me at the airport.
I can't imagine what happened to your telegram.
So I'm not surprised. They're a bit careless about things like that in Jakarta.
Sorry I went out.
Oh, late shift.
I had drinks with this chap who's just...
Oh, I see.
It was strictly business. Well, he's just started at Wentworth. He's instructing the women on how to use this new printing press we've installed. He wanted a little bit of information on the prison and to know a bit about the women.
I bet he did. Yes, well, the cat's away. I think we'll have to do something about that.
Well, you still haven't explained how you came to be here much earlier than expected.
Well, I have to go back.
Didn't realise that.
But it's just that I was thinking a lot about things, Megan, about us in particular.
How do you mean?
Well, a marriage is not much good when both partners are 6,500 kilometers apart. A lot of things are going to be sorted out, Meg, and I've come back to do just that.
You finished your meal?
Yeah. Thanks for letting me know that I didn't have to go before the VJ.
Now, I didn't say that, Doreen. You know I can't give you any information.
Yep, that's fair enough. But Do you reckon you could take a flying guess about whether I'll get out of here tomorrow or not?
Doreen, that's enough.
Well, I just wanted to see me mates. I'm going bananas in here.
I thought you were fed up with the other women.
I wasn't talking about the other women. I was talking about the dogs. They're my real mates.
I don't think you'll be seeing any more of them.
What do you mean?
Well, after what happened, the staff aren't too happy about the dogs. We're taking action to have them removed, and I think we'll succeed.
But I love them. They're my friends.
Well, I don't think that'll be taken into consideration. Good night.
It's a fabulous place, Meg. You can get domestic help for a song. I mean, you could have a house full of servants.
Could I? You know, I get the distinct impression that you want me to come back with you.
Of course I do. I want my wife with me. It's natural.
Your wife has a job of her own.
Well, you can give it up for the sake of our marriage.
Oh, to go and live a life of leisure in Jakarta.
What's wrong with that?
Well, what am I going to do? Sit around fanning myself all day? Or would we employ a servant to do that as well?
You don't have to have domestic help if you don't want it. You can do everything yourself. I don't care. I just want you to come back with me.
I feel so useless out there.
Well, you wouldn't be useless. You'd be giving me support. And that's what a wife is for.
In Jakarta, maybe. Do you want some more coffee?
No, Meg, I just want to hear you say you're going to come back with me.
Bob, just give me some time to think about it.
I didn't think it'd be so difficult for you to choose between your job and your marriage.
I see. It's come down to that, has it?
Sorry. I didn't mean to be so blunt. I guess I must be jet-lagged.
You should go to bed.
We should go to bed. Are you expecting visitors?
No.
Mrs. Morris?
Yes?
I'm sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if I could talk to you about a Judith Bryant.
Oh, go in.
Thank you.
Here we go again. Damn job of yours.
Sorry, darling. It won't take long.
I'll have a shower.
I'm sorry. Now, what's this about Judith Bryant? Mrs. Powell?
I'm worried.
So what do you want me to do about it?
Now, listen to me. It's the women. There's so much infighting going on. Sooner or later, I'm going to be dragged into it.
No, not you. You're everybody's friend, aren't you?
If I could just get away from them for a while. Could you speak to Mrs. Davidson and ask if I can work in the hospital tomorrow? Even if it's just for a few hours.
And what about the laundry? You might miss what's going on. Now, you wouldn't want to do that, would you?
I'll get all the information you want if you'll just do this for me. I won't be of any use if something happens to me.
Okay. I'll speak to Mrs. Davidson. Now get back to your cell. It's almost lock-up.
Thank you, Mrs. Powell.
Well, do you know who this man is?
Yes, his name is Jock Stewart.
Oh, I see.
You know him?
Well, I know he was harassing Judy. But why exactly are you looking for her? You don't think she pushed him down the stairs, do you?
No, we found a witness who saw Stewart chasing Bryant down the stairs. He tripped and fell. It seems that Bryant stayed for a moment, then ran off.
I know Judy was very frightened of him.
Well, he's in no condition to frighten anyone now. We'd like to get the whole story from Bryant, but as I say, she simply seems to have disappeared. Has she any friends she might have gone to?
Yes, there is one. Mrs. Pauline Curtis. Yeah, I've got her address. Judy was thinking of staying there at one stage after she was released.
Good, I'll check it out. Well, that's all, I think.
Okay.
And thanks again, Mrs. Morris. Sorry to disturb you.
It's all right. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, what was all that about?
Well, there's this man who's been blackmailing Judy Bryant. He was found in a coma at the bottom of the steps of her flat.
Oh, it doesn't sound too good.
Oh, no, Judy's in the clear. Someone saw it happen.
And you're up to your neck in it as usual, eh?
Darling, let's not talk about it tonight. You must be exhausted. And I know I'm very tired.
Well, you don't look it. You look wonderful. But tomorrow we talk. We have to make it.
Oh, thank heavens I haven't got a double shift. You're getting a bit hard to take. Yeah, don't I know it. I'm on one at the moment. By the time I get home, my kids can't look sideways at me.
Yeah, it must be difficult having children.
Can be. Career's pretty important as well.
Yeah, deputy governorship's coming up, isn't it?
Yes. How are you feeling after that business with the dogs?
Well, I'd feel better if they were taken away. I go cold every time I hear or see them.
I don't blame you. Might be worth putting it to our union rep. Morning, Mick.
Morning.
Morning.
Janet and I were just talking about the dogs. I do think it's time to call a meeting, don't you?
Oh, I don't think that's necessary.
But they're dangerous to all of us.
Yes, I'm aware of that, Janet, but I don't think there's any need to call a meeting. I know you're all against the dogs being here, and so am I. I'll simply speak to Mrs. Davidson. There's no use making mountains out of molehills.
Oh, good morning. Come in.
Good morning. I thought I'd see you straight away.
Oh, some problem?
Yes, it's about the guard dogs. Well, that is the officers, want them removed as quickly as possible. If they stay, I'm sure everyone will vote for industrial action.
Well, there's no need for that. I've already put in a report to the department. I pointed out it's not much use having guard dogs if they can be controlled by one of the prisoners. I'm sure the department will agree and we'll probably be rid of them later this afternoon.
Oh, good. I told the other officers. There is one other thing.
Yes?
I was wondering whether I could have a couple of days off. I know it's a hard time, but it is important.
Yes, of course. I'll arrange it.
Thank you.
You know, if ever there's anything you want to talk over with someone, I'd be happy to listen.
I'll remember that.
Where'd you get that thing, Burns?
Not hurting you?
It is against the rules for you to have anything in here. Give it to me.
But why? I can't do nothing with it. It's just a bit of company, that's all.
This is solitary. You're not supposed to have company. Now, don't make it difficult. You can't keep it. I have to take it.
You're a real bitch.
I want to know how you got this in here. Who brought your meal last night?
Lizzie.
And the officer?
Miss Conway. But Mrs. Davidson said I could have it.
Are you sure?
Yeah?
I think you're lying, and it won't take me long to find out.
So, the dogs should be gone today?
Well, I, for one, will be very glad to see the back of them.
Yes, I bet you will. I still don't know how Doreen managed to win them over. Sometimes these women never cease to amaze me.
Meg, I don't know just how you manage to maintain a pleasant attitude towards them. Sometimes they drive me mad.
They're but for the grace of God and all that.
Well, you'd make a very good deputy governor, but you know that, don't you? Have you applied for the position?
Yes, I have applied, but I don't quite know what I'm doing at the moment. About a lot of things. Well, I better get back to the grindstone.
G'day. I've been looking for you.
Oh, why?
I thought we might have a bite of lunch together. I hear they serve a pretty good counter lunch down at the Arms.
I'm sorry, I'm doing some shopping in my lunch hour.
Well, how about a drink after work, then?
No, thank you.
It's pretty rough when you got to beat them off like that. Still, I'm always having women falling at my feet, as long as I stick my foot out in time.
Can I have a word with you, Janet?
Yes, of course.
Excuse me, ladies.
I believe you were on trolley duty with Birdsworth last night.
Yes, that's right.
Did Birdsworth give Burns a teddy bear?
Yes.
Did Mrs. Davidson give Burns permission to have it?
No, I just thought...
Oh, you just thought it would be all right to break the rules?
Oh, for heaven's sake, Colleen, don't be so officious. Now, what harm can it do? You're just laying it on so thick about the rules because of the deputy governorship.
I am your superior already, Miss Conway, so I will have some respect. You can think yourself lucky I'm not going to report the incident to Mrs. Davidson this time. If, however, you do choose to break the rules in the future, I will make sure you are well and truly carpeted.
G'day, love.
No talking, Birdsworth. Just leave the tray and go.
God, you're in a real mood today, aren't you?
Is enough. Put it down and get out.
We should all chip in and get her wet.
Birdsworth. So Mrs. Davidson said you could have the bear, did she? Come on. Hand it over.
Oh,
please, Mrs. Powell, please let me keep him. He's all I've got.
You are a grown woman, Burns, not a child.
I know that, but it's just because I'm in here all by myself. That's why I want to keep him, please.
It is against the rules for you to have anything in here. Now, are you going to hand it to me, or do I have to take it by force?
Fair go, Mrs. Powell. Ease up. You're getting worse than old vinegar.
I told you to get out. Now get that bloody trolley back to the kitchen.
Mrs. Powell, is it true they're getting rid of the dogs?
Yes, and as soon as possible.
Well, I get a chance to see them again. I only wanted to say goodbye.
Mrs. Morris, I've been able to arrange that time off for you. 2 days starting from tomorrow. Is that all right?
Yes, that's fine. Thank you. Hope it's not too inconvenient.
Oh, we'll manage. I must say I'm glad to see you put in an application for Deputy Governor.
Yes, I'm wondering whether I should withdraw it now.
Because of Bob? Mm-hmm. Or why don't you wait and see what happens? I must say, I think you have a good chance of getting the position.
Really?
Well, I'm certainly going to recommend you.
Well, thank you. Well, I'll have to talk things through with Bob over the next few days. Perhaps we can come to some sort of compromise.
Bye, Blitz. Bye, Amber.
Hope these tablets and things burn okay.
Yes, you needn't worry about that.
It seems a terrible waste.
They're out of date. Most of them will probably be all right, but the hospital can't afford to take any chances.
Goodness, that lot are gone.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again, but that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down, but the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside, the roses grow. They don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too when morning comes around.